There it is. Model 36, no lock, the new 2025s have come out. Hopefully, you saw the video earlier this week, which is something we don't normally do, as we've discussed many times over the course of the last shows and stuff. We don't usually do videos like that, but something like that. I know it's like, but the channel has a long history, over 10-year history with revolvers and things. So it was kind of almost like coming back around to something also that we did a video on one of these very, very long ago. It was one of the ones with the key lock and everything like that. And there was some things on it that I really didn't like. You could almost say that these are almost the same, but they don't have the key lock. That's a really big one that everybody kind of threw the stones at these things. It was now over the years, I guess even back then, I didn't really give it too much thought. But I haven't actually gone back to look at the video. But actually, in the video, I was more concerned with something else, which was the kind of the contour of the frame. And we're going to go ahead and get into that a little bit here in this Saturday show. But we're going to go ahead and read out some comments and everything like that. So let's dive into that, and brought out some other stuff here to kind of talk about, and we'll get the show on the roll. So anyway, actually during the video on this one, Mickey Mantle, he he got a ping on his phone that we dropped the video, and he was like, "Hey, it's not Saturday morning," but it was really cool to see that kind of support, that people are watching for those notifications that come up for our little channel that we have here. That everybody is just involved in. So that's really cool. Appreciate that. That's pretty awesome. So I do appreciate everybody, all the subs that we get, and the comments and everything that we read on every Saturday morning. So even though, yes, the doing kind of like tabletop reviews, I don't even want to say it's a review. It's not really a review. It's more like a show and tell, like kind of like, hey, look, check this out. So anyhow, let's go through it. Jeffrey Richardson says, sip of coffee. Good morning, sip of coffee. Absolutely. Taco Bell. Yeah, Taco Bell. You know what? I don't know how many of you remember the Santa Fe Gordita back in I think it was the 90s. Man, that was the bee's knees right there. That thing was so good. I wish they would bring that back. All right. Love dogs. Cleanse oil. The old timer who invented it always had a table at local gun shows and sold mail order at the show. His wife was always with him. He eventually sold the company. I have used it since the 70s. He was a very easygoing man and easy to talk with. That's cool. I have not tried Cleanse oil. Maybe I'll look it up and see, what it is. But I think we're referring to when I was talking about the stuff I use. Mainly, I use Ballistol. I was very fortunate back on the island before I discovered, or got to use Ballistol. I knew of it. I just never got to use it. Always kind of wanted to. But Bob Hartman sent me my very first bottle of Ballistol back in the island. And ever since then, I've used it nonstop. That's pretty much my go-to. And that's all I buy, really. Aside for this kind of stuff, I use it on the rails on my 1911s and semi-autos if I rarely, shoot those. But that's about it. Ballistol's my go-to stuff there. All right, Jeffrey Richardson. You got another one here, and he says, beautiful grips. The checkering is laser cut, maybe, referring to these. I don't think these, if you guys saw last week's show, we replaced the grips on this one. This is the Model 29-10. I don't think it's laser done. It might be, but if it is, it's done fairly well. I like them because this is a throwback to the old school stuff. These other ones, like the alt mountain and stuff, I think those are probably like CNC'd for sure. These may be CNC'd, but there's enough, I guess, rawness to it. I don't know how to explain that, but these ones here from Thailand and whatnot, I think they're probably the closest copies of the Smiths you're going to get, the old school Smiths. I actually put those on there just because of the width of them. These are slightly palm swelled, so I did actually end up going to the range and testing that with 44 Magnum, and it was much more comfortable to shoot. As much as I love the original stock grips that were on it, I wanted to keep those on it to kind of separate this from the older ones. But it was just not comfortable to shoot. I think other people have said that during their runs at the range and everything like that. That whoever designed them probably never shot a Magnum ever. So hey, to each their own. Some people like them, some people don't. I had to go with the wider stocks, and I don't have large hands. There was just much more real estate in the back of this thing to handle that Magnum. You need that. You really do. You need that wider impact area. Of course, on the Python, we went with the Deer Hollow grips, which that's a one-man operation out of Tennessee, making the best Python reproduction grips you can buy. So if you're really kind of going for that vintage look, that's the only way to go, in my opinion. They're really great fella, but you got to be patient, and when this stuff is available, you got to snag it up fast, because he doesn't make very many of them. They're not available like 24/7. So when they are, you got to be ready to buy them. All right, are they worth the price? Yes, absolutely, no question about it. Okay, here we go with Bohemian Hunting Club, another great channel out there doing some testings. I think they recently did a testing with some federal ammo, I think it was. I can't remember if you guys were doing that or not. I'm really bad at keeping up with everybody. I'm sorry. It's just time, time in life, and we've talked about that. Where it's just we just don't have enough time for a lot of things anymore. At least I don't. So my schedule is just being completely narrowed down to a lot of things that I can only do so much with things. All right, this one's from Joe, my man, Joe P. Everybody, so your coffee for Joe and all the working class stiffs out there, us 9-to-5ers, the people in the trenches making it all happen while the rich people walk on our backs, right? So anyway, I've always had good luck with grips from Thailand. I own several pairs. I currently have them on my Smith & Wesson 627 and my Model 66. Reasonably priced, real wood, no laminate. Yes, that's right. There's even the new alt mount ones that are on this 36 is not laminate. It doesn't appear to be to me. It looks pretty good. They're wide. Again, if it was my thing, I think I would keep them if they were mine. If this was mine, I think I would keep them. All right. Here we go. Sean says, good Saturday morning. Unboxings are always so fun. We have a 2-week waiting period in my state for firearms, so the anticipation is hard to control. Nice set of grips there. Yes, I definitely feel you on the 2-week waiting periods. Used to have to do that quite a bit. And man, but you know what? It almost, I don't know. I'm just making light of the situation, but it almost made it feel like, like, I guess, like something to look forward to. Maybe I just try to look at the better of everything that you can do. All right, DB, the grips look sweet. One of my favorite things about 1911s and revolvers are being able to swap out grips and give it a new look and feel, almost like buying another but way cheaper. Absolutely, that's what I love doing that. Grips are like, I love grips. The grips are my thing. I love switching grips out. It really does. It gives it a whole nother look, and it's like, yeah, it's like buying a brand new item but you're saving more money at that. So, all right, Crazy Scotsman. I really do enjoy the stories of your uncle. A great way to start the show. I prefer much larger grips with the swells to look, so those look much better than the stock grips. There can be some fitting required with anything like this. I picked up a Boyd rifle stock a couple years back. I had to do some file work on a magazine. Well, slow and consistently check fit is key. Just because it says custom doesn't mean it will fit perfectly right away. Very good point. And also, by the way, people, Crazy Scotsman, for providing the camera that we're using for all these. It was so hard to figure out if we're going to do this with, the tabletop style review with the camera and everything, because I really don't know. Sometimes I don't really know how the adjustments work. By the way, this camera has been working wonderful for us. I'm so not tech savvy. So buying cameras for me I'm so outdated and out of touch with all that. I'm scared to drop like serious coin on things I don't know about. But Crazy Scotsman, just thank you for the donation of this camera, and it's been working. It's been doing fine, so I really appreciate that. And it provided us to be able to do a tabletop review with this 36. So, but yeah, a very good point that he made. Slow and consistent with when you're fitting stuff like that. Don't do what I do, which is I'm very impatient, very sloppy, and I just kept going and just make it work because I wanted the thing yesterday. Um, All right, Slim Fire. Good morning, JW. The grips look awesome. Love Taco Bell too. It's my first. That's my go-to fast food. I remember shooting off fireworks off, and it was so much fun. Love the video, Slim. Thank you. Really appreciate that, Slim. So good stuff. I tell you, everybody should enjoy fireworks and whatnot, and just enjoy life or whatever it is you want to do, and try to make the best of it because it does go fast. I remember when I was a lot younger, and everybody told me, man, enjoy it up, live it up, because time is moving fast. It's moving fast, and boy, they ain't kidding. They ain't kidding. I tell you, man. A lot of my friends and people I cared about are gone. Yeah, and it's like you start noticing that somebody had said once to me. They said the sad part is you start attending more funerals than birthdays. Um, it gets crazy. It gets crazy. It gets sad at the same time. So, but look up to all the things that are come. So, and check out new things that are coming out. Keep you motivated to do it. Willie says here, as always, sir, nice new grip look, great fits, fits the hand. Need to order more grips, so I would like to know where you purchase them. Thank you. eBay and Amazon, really, it's the best place to find them. The thing about those the grips from overseas in Thailand, you got to allow for some time for them to be delivered. So you got to be patient, a little bit patience with that. I'm not patient, but it is what it is. But also, keep in mind that it's unfortunate. A lot of these ones from Thailand, there's different makers, different people doing it. Some people are around for a little while, and some people disappear. Unfortunately, they're gone, and then their products are not there. They're gone, and you can't get those exact ones that whoever the artist was that was doing it. Unfortunately, that's a bummer. All right, so yes, the elephant in the room, the new Model 36. We'll get the one thing I did criticize about the one I reviewed or looked at years and years and years ago, which the one thing I criticized was, I tell you, these things lock up so tight. It's unbelievable. This part right here, this part of the frame, I felt I was like, man, what is up with that? It threw me off. I didn't really like it. So it was kind of a pass for me. I never really ended up with one. I had a couple, maybe a few J-frame 36 Chief Specials over the years. Always got rid of them. Always kind of wish I didn't, but I did. I got rid of them, and so this one here is the frame mounted firing pin. That is a thing where some people freak out about it. Some people don't. I've actually grown to like it. In fact, my 2910, it's got a frame mounted firing pin. I actually really like the fact that it does. I really prefer that. Not saying that I've seen it often, but I have seen that firing pin nose thing broken off of some Smiths, and never really did look at how to replace that. I'm assuming you could it looked like you could drive that pin out, but it's flanged at the same time. So I always kind of wonder, how do you do that? Or do you just replace the whole hammer assembly? The one that I repaired for a lady, we just replaced the entire hammer assembly because her firing pin was sheared right off. But then you could also argue that the Pythons always had a frame-mounted firing pin, and people refer to the Python as like the revolver. So, all right. Anyway, so enough about that. I actually grown to live with it. We've had, since we got this thing, and we're gonna, give it back. Some of the things we went over on the video. The gap here between the frame and the crane. That's just caused by parts being CNC'd and then assembled rather than somebody fitting them, I would assume. It is similar on the 2910 mine here. It's similar. Does it bother me? No, I really don't care. The Colt Python, it has it too. So I'm gonna assume that this is because of the modern CNC machining that is just put together. They make all the parts to a spec and they put them together. Kind of like how they did in World War II. If you imagine in World War II, all the M1 rifles, the 1911s that we had, they were all machined to a certain spec, and that was so they could take a bucket of parts, grab them, throw them together, assemble them, and get them out there. So that, I think that just chalks up to that. It doesn't bother me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not as much of a nitpicker as some people are. I really am not. Um, the MIM parts, which we all know is kind of there's going to be a lot of parts on here. I believe the hammer trigger, the cylinder release latch right there is machine injected metal, whatever. I don't know. It doesn't really get under, like, it doesn't bother me as much. Really don't care, take it or leave it. What I like is the sturdiness of this thing. I can tell you that like I said, it locks up really. That when you close that, it's locked up tight. The barrel shape is what did it for me. This is what it was all about for me. Honestly, if it didn't have this barrel shape and this sight, this half moon sight, I wouldn't have been so like jazzed about it. I probably wouldn't have even sourced one out to try to get us for a video or anything like that. Probably would have let it be. But because it has that, it really made it cool for me to try to track one of these, and get and check it out for myself. Because other than that, other than this barrel change and the no key lock, really, this is just the 36-10 that they've had for forever. This is the -11 indicating the changes that those two that I can visually see, which is the barrel and then that. The grips, from what I can tell, are the same style grips that they have been, including with all of them, even in the past. What I can say is they are fairly wider. These are wide. I don't know the ones in the past. I can't remember. I haven't handled one since that video that we did many years ago. But I do like that. It is wider. Yeah, they're not. I mean, there some fitment issues in the back here. There's a gap. Whatever. You can. Even actually the Thailand one is better fitted. But I mean, grips to me are so irrelevant because these companies, I'm just glad that they offer the wood grips to begin with, but you can always change these out. It's not like the end of the world where these are bonded to the firearm that you can't take them out or something like that. So who cares really? You can go on the internet and buy, you can even throw the old G grips on it if you want to, if you can get a pair that is in decent shape, and get that going if you really want to. But the ones that are on it, not bad. I don't imagine this is something that you would shoot a whole lot. I'd imagine it would just not be something you'd be blasting constantly. It's a little J frame. The finish is fairly nice. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know how well that shows up. The finish is fairly nice. It is, I wouldn't say it's as nice as some of the old stuff, but how close it is. My eyes I really couldn't tell you, even right down to my -10. It's got a beautiful finish on it. I know it's been somewhat criticized. The Python, this is the new Python. That finish is just gorgeous. I can't, I mean, I don't know how much, really, I mean, how much more, like, I mean, how nitpicky can you possibly get? Smooth trigger on this, by the way, is nice. That is fairly nice to have that option there. But yeah, it's really cool. I think I'm gonna want to really gravitate towards the Model 10 myself, the new Model 10 that they got. The K-frame 6-shot, larger, firearm that. Just because I see myself shooting that a whole lot more. This is something that I mean, I haven't shot it. Neither is the owner, and I just imagine it probably might hurt a little bit more. I mean, from my experience, you don't shoot snubbies a whole lot, It's fun to take them to the range, but it's like one of those things where a box of ammo probably lasts a couple of range trips. But anyway, who knows? I mean, to each their own. At least for me, I look at it. I have my interest with them is all about the movies. Those old detective movies, they always got one. And this in the Model 36 has been in so many of them. I mean, just to name a few right off the top is like the Seven Ups, the French Connection 2, Night Game, another Roy Scheider, wonderful. But one that it really stands out to me is the French Connection 2. If you have not seen the French Connection 2, it's actually worth seeing. It's not quite, you almost don't really need to see the first one to kind of, but, you need a little bit of the story, the backstory to see it. But one of the cool things is, because he goes to France, Popeye Doyle goes to France, and they, big on, hey, you don't carry a gun. No gun. It's illegal for even a police officer to carry a gun here in France. An outsider that would, kind of, oh, yeah. Minute he goes back to his hotel room, slits the liner out of his suitcase open and removes what looks to be a brand new Model 36. Very haphazardly, has some rounds, throws them in his hand, throws them in there, puts on his ankle holster. You don't see it a whole lot in the movie, but he has it, so you see it a few times, but he does have it. It's one of the cool scenes that you can see with it. Another one, kind of a newer movie with Michael Caine, is Harry Brown. Harry Brown is another. It's one of those typical. It's you could almost say it's like an English version of Death Wish. He goes and he wants to buy some firearms. He goes and visits the guy with the suitcase, and the guy pulls out. He goes, if you want to go a bit old school, he goes, you can get this one right here. It's a 38 snub, and he goes, and I think he says what he goes, it's a bugger though, because it only holds 5 rounds, because it's a Model 36. Can you see that? It's like kind of a neat scene, kind of interesting. But anyway, so I just kind of wanted to bring it out. What is my interest with a lot of these newer ones? As you can see, we have basically that's what was cool to have this available here for us for now. Was all these are new, new offerings right now. The Smith Model 10, the Smith 29-10, that's the new offering. The new Python, the 2020, this one's the blued version, and the new no lock 38, the 36. I kind of grew more to I love collectibles, but I want to shoot them, and this is a great way to get your collectibles the way they look without the extreme price tags on some of them, and have them, and they're kind of, and they're, you can't help but remember they're built a little better. I know some people just refuse to hear that, but I do feel I've had a number of different ones and older ones, and I can't, especially the Python. I highly think that this is much better built. And this is cool because I can go out and shoot 350. I've shot a bunch of 357 Magnums through this thing, and it's like the still locks up and works like the day I bought it. So it's wonderful. So it's kind of one of those things. It goes back to, we're going to say it again, like Crazy Scotsman says, white glove nothing. We shoot everything. So it's wonderful to have that. Been having another great big fun with the Model 29. Shoot 44 Magnums out of it, and that's been wonderful. Been enjoying it. It's been fun. I'm not too worried about the wear and tear so much on them. Honestly, probably by the time it suffers some significant wear and tear, I'm probably going to be gone or not be able to shoot anymore anyhow. So it's been fun to have them. For me, what's really cool about it, like I said, we're living in a time where this is not something that we had to buy on the used market that's been kicking around for years. We don't know what has or hasn't been done to it or anything like that, or the mileage on it. You're getting a brand new one right out of the box. You're the first one to put the rounds through it, aside from the test firing, obviously, and enjoy it. So that's kind of my attraction to it all. for me, as my generation is, this is now, my time at all. I'm seeing a Python as a regular catalog item. So for a youngster like me, that's really cool. Brand new Model 29 out of the box to cut the tags off and run the magnums in it myself. That's really cool. And also remember, some of us live in states that this is what is available. Some states you can't get the vintage ones because of their silly restrictions and things like that. So this is what they have available. So you got to remember that too. Um, I try not to pay too much attention to the trashing of these things because a lot of that does come from prices. It comes from the fact that that people have invested in some of the vintage ones and wanted the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for them, and now you really can't so much do that. I since the Pythons came out, like I said, I've seen them available for as low as $1,700 at the local stores right down here in town. Vintage ones and really good shape ones. Where before this came out, that would have not happened. These things would have been like 3,500. So actually, if you're into the old ones, this is actually the best time to do it because now the prices have come down. You can actually afford to get one that's if that's what you want. Me on the other hand, I don't want that one. I'd rather keep mine. I really enjoy this one. I'd much rather have this than the old one. I used to have a couple old ones. I got rid of them over the years. But I'd much rather have this. This is actually my favorite. And actually, the Model 29, this is my favorite one right now, too. I can shoot it. I actually enjoy it more than my old vintage 1971 Dash 2 or something like that. I have it. It's cool. I shoot it, but I shoot this one more, enjoy this one more. So take a lot of the criticisms and the loose, bad mouthing that these have been getting over the internet and all that. So I just take it really lightly because check it out for yourself. A lot of times too, when you go to see these things in the shops and stuff like that, they literally pulled them right out of the grease bag and boom, there it is. They didn't bother to wipe off all that heavy grease and oil that's on it because, I've had people tell me about the Python, the finish was, whatever. But yeah, it's covered in grease from coal. Of course, you remove all that grease, and underneath it is this beautiful, polished blue. So anyway, same with all the other things. But yeah, just check it out for yourself. Be the judge of your own. Check them out for yourself and go out there. Don't take my word for it. Don't take all these other keyboard people out there. Don't take their word for it. Go and check it out for yourself. I did, and what I'm seeing so far, I'm impressed. I'm enjoying it. I like it, so it works for me. So I'm happy with that. So and I kind of remember there is always reasons, and the people that do criticize, I guess they don't understand. It's like you don't have to buy them. Just don't buy them. But I'm happy they're available. I'm one of the people that do enjoy them, and I did, check them out. So, and like I said, there's some people that live in states where they can't have the vintage ones, or they can't get them or import them, and it's like, so, oh well, just move. Well, it's not easy just to pack up, your whole life and move that you've grounded yourself for 45 years somewhere, house paid off and all that. It's not as easy to do that. So, anyway. Thanks for tuning in with Saturday morning here. I'm just being, honest and liking what I had. I got mine, and this is pretty cool. I like it. It's neat at that sight and everything. That tapered barrel, that pencil barrel, or whatever you want to call it. Pretty cool. So